This is your burning priority. There's no such thing as time management in the world of priority management. Okay. So set your priorities by setting your boulders. Remember, your quarterly boulders should be firm-wide. 60% of them should have, approximately 60% should have numbers tied to them. 40%-ish should be procedural, right? Okay. They should be long-term asset-based goals. So instead of saying, I want to hire 5 people this quarter, you would be better off setting a boulder on creating a recruiting process, which is an asset that you will walk away with for years and years to come. Right? And the foolproof list of quarterly rocks I will give you right now. Number 1 at the top of the list is some way to measure your happiness of your clients. Okay. I know Derek Martin doesn't do NPS. Okay. Some of you do, but we use Net Promoter Score. Find whatever works for you. Find a way to measure, are your clients happy, through surveying them. Through Net Promoter Score, we can put a number to it. Okay. So you can never go wrong rolling out Net Promoter Score. Okay. To track how happy your clients are. Awareness creates change. You can never go wrong creating a goal around lead volume, right? Increasing lead volume. There's marketing qualified leads. There's sales qualified leads. We'll go through that later. Okay. But number of leads is a key contributor to scaling revenue. That is a quarterly boulder candidate, right? Think about it with me, right? Just think out loud with me, right? Like, okay, like number of leads, how happy are your clients, right? Some efficiency metric on case management. Cameron, my coach, he says this is the number 1 most important number in any business he's ever consulted or audited. Employee Net Promoter Score. Use the same survey you would use to see if your clients are happy and do the same survey internally. So you send a survey to your team. Before you send the survey, we've done this at our company, and you got to get people to be honest, right? And so before you ever send an internal survey to your team to see if they're actually happy, you have to tell them that it will be kept anonymous. Like you literally have to show them that it will be anonymous, right? Or they will not give you honest feedback. That's 1. Number 2 is you have to tell them that if they don't give you any negative feedback, that nothing will improve, and make that very clear to them. If they don't give any negative feedback, this is your one chance to create long-lasting improvement in the business. If you don't speak up about it, just know everything that's happening right now will continue. You can do this either every 3 or 6 months. Okay. You could start every 3 months, and then you'll get survey fatigue. So you could extend it to over like 6 months if you want. And the same thing applies to doing client surveys, right? You could go from 3 months at first, and then once everyone's filled it out, you can go to 6 months and space it out. You use the same tool you would use for clients as what you would use for your team. So we use HubSpot. We use Ask Nicely. We use Ask Nicely now. So Ask Nicely is the tool that we use to determine how happy our team is and how happy. And then you can tie, if you have an HR director eventually, or you have someone who wears that hat, you tie their bonus to that number. So you tie their bonus to that number. Okay. So you create an incentive. So this is where you have a team happiness director or a culture director. By the way, you can just assign this to the happiest person in your office today as a separate role. Hey, you're just a really happy person. You're always cheerleading the team up. I want to call you, team happiness manager. Don't give a director role. Give a manager role. Okay. Okay. Remember, do not overtitle someone, right? Be very wary with director titles. So I hope that helps. That was a huge insight. That was my first session I ever had with Cameron. That's what he told me, is he looks at employee Net Promoter Score as a top number. So those of you who want to create a culture goal, do employee net promoter score. If anyone wants to create a training process, that would require milestones. So everyone write this down. Okay. This took me like 3 years to learn this lesson. Any process-based Boulder goal, whatever it is, requires milestones. Okay. So if you want to implement a CRM, a new CRM, if you want to implement an employee training process to delegate casework and different parts of the case management process, it requires milestones. The only thing a CEO should be signing off on is the milestone plan. Yes, signing off. An actual signature of you. Okay? You are never allowed to get mad at your team midway through a quarter if you signed off on the plan. Right? So the key is signing off on the plan in advance. So you would have someone else on your team create what they think milestone 1, 2, and 3 would be. Actually, I'll show you how we did this. It's on my whiteboard. But basically, we determined in our CRM project, we determined that milestone number 1 was creating our procedures. The procedures we wanted to have implemented in the CRM was actually the first milestone. And we determined that that's going to take 45 days within the quarter to have all of our processes fleshed out that we want to then transpose to the CRM. We found that the second milestone on a CRM project was to hire an expert on that CRM. Not for us to try and figure out the little trinkets on the CRM. It was to just go hire an expert on that CRM. Right? So for us, it's HubSpot. So the second milestone on our CRM project was to find a HubSpot consultant that we would then hire to consult us on how to implement those processes into the CRM. The third phase was to create one training video, one overview training video on how to use the main functions, the general functions of the CRM. That's it. That is our quarterly boulder for our CRM this quarter. The first milestone when we brainstorm this out in a team meeting, what's called a boulder launch meeting, after you have selected your quarterly boulders, you're then going to have an internal meeting with your team where you're going to strategize with them. You're going to say, okay, the goal is X. How are we going to get X done? You don't do a lot of the talking here. How do you guys think we're going to get X done? Oh, this, that, right? 80% of the ideas you would have had will come from your team, right? You're only there for that 20%, for the things that you see that others don't see, right? That's it. That's a boulder launch meeting. The outcome of a boulder launch meeting is you signing off on the milestones, the 3 to 5 milestones of what must happen in what order in order to make the boulder come true.